Hello, so today we're going to do a quick bush flight in the Beaver in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We've been camping on the beach just south of Byron Bay in Australia. We're on the east coast of Australia, so if we go and have a look on the map you can see where we are. We're at Broken Head Beach. We're going to fly along the beach up to Byron Bay and have a nose around, and then we're going to fly off to the west into the Nightcap National Park and have a look around, and then have a look around the rest of the Border Ranges National Park up to Lamington National Park and find somewhere to land. So we'll probably go for somewhere up around Dungay, somewhere around there, find a nice patch of grass to land on and put our campground in. So if we go and put a user point in here maybe, and we'll call this campground, and OK that. We'll ignore the waypoint marker there because it's got nothing to do with that. So actually that's a good point. Can we just change that? So user points, edit user points. There we go. So we're going to try and maybe land out there on some nice flat ground, unless we see somewhere nice on the way round. So let's just put some more waypoints in here. So append, maybe add, append. So we're going to fly around. It looks like a crater, doesn't it? It probably is, from the ancient past. There's the impact crater in the middle. Anyway, here we are on the beach. We're using the Parallel 42 Campout utility to do this, available from Orbex, and we're in the Beaver from Asobo. So let's go and pack up our tent. So all we have to do that is click on the campground or campout utility, sorry, and pack up everything, and it will pick everything up for us and remember it so we can put it back out when we land. And we will go and jump inside the aeroplane and go and power the aeroplane up. So we'll sit down in the cockpit, turn the battery on, and what do we need to do? Let's have a think. Beacon light goes to on. Fuel goes to a tank. So center tank will do. The ignition goes to both. Turn the fuel boost on for a few seconds. Start the engine. Try that again. And we have the engine running. It's quite quiet from inside. It's not the noisiest engine in the world. So let me go for nav lights. Pitot heat can come on. Landing lights and strobe lights can come on. There's nobody around to blind with them. We'll turn the radios. Oh, the radios are already on. Okay, we don't need the tablet for anything. Okay, I think we're good to go. So calibrate the altimeter. It looks pretty good already, actually, just above sea level, which we obviously are. So sit up in the cockpit, mixture to rich, flaps to takeoff position, off the parking brake, and start taxiing forwards. Now, just aware that there are some trees a little way further along the beach. So what I might do is just taxi along to them before starting up. Or maybe we can get away with a takeoff run in between them. So we'll go in between the trees, which is going to be fun. We're just going to climb before them, actually, that's fine. So flaps up. It's a little bit windy along the beach today. It's not too bad though. So we're going to follow along the beach up to Byron Bay. Have a nose around. And watch the sun come up. There's our Beaver. Just to make this a little bit more fun, should we turn on FS Realistic, which will throw us around the cabin? Put a little bit more animation and movement into the video. So we just minimise that. You can see straight away the cabin has a bit more movement about it, which is fine. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at the map. So we're just coming up to Byron Bay, and then we'll head off inland at 270 degrees. So Byron's just over the trees down here. There's a famous lighthouse out on the end of the peninsula, which we'll hopefully see. I imagine somebody's going to ask what on earth is a Canadian beaver doing on the east coast of Australia, and I would ask the same question. I just like the colour scheme. So we can see on this one map, yeah, we've got 15 knots behind us at the moment. It's swirling around though. When we were in the cover of the tree line we had almost no wind. Here comes the lighthouse. So we'll climb gently up to the lighthouse. A bit more power. See what we can see through the window as we come past. Right on the point of stalling, I'm kind of forcing the aeroplane around the corner to keep the lighthouse in view. Okay, so this is Byron Bay coming up, so if we just sit up in the cockpit so we can see it. It's a very pretty place. Quite developed here, isn't it? There's quite a lot of big buildings. Okay, so we need to be turning 270-ish. So we're going to noticed our compass hadn't been aligned. I've just realigned our compass. One of the problems of older planes is you do get compass drift on the gyro compass versus the binnacle compass. Okay, so how are we doing on the plan? Out towards the Nightcap National Park first then. Should we get the autopilot up and running so we can easily do this and not have to work so hard at flying the plane and navigating at the same time? So we're going to go for heading mode, but we need to move the heading bug to do that. So there's west. Was it west we need to go? Yeah. So we've got a heading bug going, so we're going to go trim the plane out so we're not having to fly it so desperately all the time. Set the altitude to 1500 feet maybe, so we're not quite so dangerous. Well, 1,000 feet is probably okay, but once we get to the hills we'll need a bit higher. So we'll go for 1,500 feet. So autopilot on, heading mode, and let the plane climb at 500 feet a minute until we get to 1,500. Give it a bit more throttle to get there. As you can see, the altitude is climbing. Now we're nice and steady. You can see the wind is pushing us sideways. So we're heading out towards the Nightcap National Park. Let's have a look at that sunrise. The sun's coming up quite quickly, isn't it? So we're going to go another 5 degrees left just to counter the wind. And I'm going to quickly grab a coffee while we're en route because it's going to take a little while. Okay, I'm just running backwards and forwards, stirring coffee, and just heard it click. Oh, back in the nick of time. Okay, come off the autopilot. Let's get a little bit of height here. So as you can see, we're just entering the start of the hills. So what I'm inclined to do actually is aim for this way in. Through this valley, so it's up here. And go inside the ring of hills. How are we doing on altitude? Coming up for 2,000 feet. I'm just aware once we get to 3,000 feet we have to start thinking about mixture, But I don't think we're going to get that high today. Come off the throttle a bit, we're going remarkably fast. Getting there slowly. So the aim will be to fly around the rim of the line of hills and then find our place to land. So where are we on the map at the moment? We're just coming up through Hoonbrook and then on towards Nightcap, so we need to be careful. We are slowly turning, we could see that happening. Stunning piece of the world, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. So we could go lower across these fields, I guess, make it a bit more interesting. Go and have a nose at some of the farms along the way. So we're going to come off the throttle as we descend. How gorgeous is this? It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? So beautiful, this part of the world. So we are leaving Nightcap behind us, moving over to the Mebane National Park, which I'm guessing is this plain out in front of us. Go and investigate some of these farmhouses. Just go and keep an eye on the fuel levels in the aircraft. So this is the middle, front and rear, so we're running low on the middle tank, so we're going to go and switch to rear. I'm hoping against hope that once we get out further down the other end, we'll have somewhere nice and flat to land over here. So we're about 2/3 of the way through our trip so far. So we're aiming down here for finding somewhere to land, I think. It's going to be down just out of sight over that ridge, isn't it? For the moment though, let's go and have some more fun with the low level flying, shall we? Let's have a look at the map, see how we're doing. So we're just coming up towards the corner. Early morning light across the trees looks spectacular, doesn't it? It's very, very cool. Obviously from outside you'll get the lens flare as well. So we're just going around the outcropping here at Limpid Wood, and we'll go back in again once we get around it. So open the engine up slightly. Fuel, see how we're doing. So rear is coming down alarmingly quickly as well. This doesn't have the best range, not on a rich mixture anyway. So we should be able to go back around the back of here on the way. Should we descend down to treetop height? Make it a bit more fun. Okay, let's go and have a look at the map, see where we got to so far. So we're on our run in towards the campground, so we're just going to hug the side of the mountains as we have been all the way around. You see some turbulence is kicking us around a little bit now. And then we'll have to start looking for likely landing locations. So we may have to do some surveying, flying around in circles. Quite the wiggly route we've been flying. So, Dulgwigan is the place we're heading for. The Wedgetail, is it? Yeah, Wedgetail Retreat. So we'll climb over the top of this hill over here. How are we doing on fuel? Okay, we're switching to the front tank. They were only 50% full to start with, so that's why we're running the fuel down so quickly. And we're running full rich all the time. Having said that, we're coming up to 2,000 feet. Okay, we're still not high enough to bother leaning the engine. So we're wanting to be the other side of this ridge. So we're going to follow the ridge round. Yeah, you can see what we're doing here. Otherwise we would have fallen into this side of the valley, and we don't want to be on that side of the valley. Fallen into there, we want to be this side over here. I'm hoping against hope we're going to find some clear ground to land on. Out over here, hopefully. If we look where the river is, that will give us a good guide. So yeah, the Dulgwigan River, or road, sorry, has some flat land just before the river. So that's where we're aiming for, is over here. So we want to follow this ridge out into the farmland. Now, the farmer's not going to be happy with us if we land in a farmer's field. Is that... That's not a runway, is it? No, it's just a path. But it's not a bad place to land. Which means we don't want anywhere too built up. That's obviously a farmer's field. And this is obviously too mountainous to dare try and land on. I'm thinking this is looking like a good option. These are all farmers' fields though, aren't they? Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where are we going to land? We've got about another 20 minutes worth of fuel. I guess anything flat is going to be managed land, isn't it? Right. I'm going for that area because it hasn't got farm crops growing on it. Okay, so if you're wondering what just happened and why the sim suddenly changed, we had the sim crash on us. So I've I've put myself back in the air, loaded back in the right place at the right time. And we're going to attempt that approach again, hopefully, and the sim won't crash this time. So it's the first time I've had a crash with Flight Simulator for a very long time. So we're just circling over the town that we discovered. That was a good place to land. There's obviously an airstrip cut into the land, so it's good a place as any. So we're going to go and land down there and then pitch our tent somewhere to stay. Obviously, I guess somewhere around here you'd be able to find a farmhouse to stay at. But so we're just circling round. Let's have a look at the wind. So wind supports flying directly in this end of the runway. So we'll look at this from outside. So we'll overfly it first, I think, just to get an idea of the land and what is there, before we attempt to bring the aeroplane down. Let's do this from inside. So we're just trying to get a good look at the lay of the land, really, and any obstacles in our way. So there are some big trees at the end of this strip. Unfortunately, the wind is this way, so we can't go the other end, really, not safely. So we could just come in at a slight angle, kind of follow this field, just miss the trees. But otherwise, it's looking very clear, isn't it? It looks like a prepared strip, but not an official airport that's in the simulator database. Well, hopefully, nobody will mind us pitching up at the end of the runway with our tent for the evening, or maybe taxi out over here into this flat area. That's as good a place as any, isn't it? Okay, let's go around then and see how we get on. Okay, we're going to start dropping flaps as we go. If we follow the line of this field, we can hopefully go in between the trees and get a halfway sensible approach. We want to come in as slow as we sensibly can. So it's the field with the scratch marks we're going to hopefully fall into. So keeping an eye on the airspeed, don't want to get too slow. on full flaps, in between the trees. Right on the stall limit. Okay, flaps back up, ease the engine open. Seems the wheels are getting stuck in the mud, which is always a risk. Off into the grass. Park the plane over in the corner where we thought we might. Parking brake on. Okay. For some reason the fuel boost came back on when I restarted the plane for the approach. So pitot heat can come off, nav lights off, beacon light off, landing light off, strobe lights off, and we're good. Turn the radio off, alternator off, battery off. And now comes the fun bit. So we can go and get our camping kit out and unpack everything again. Open a fire, let the dog out, go and have a wee. And there we go, we are now camping at the Tweed River Jockey Club, apparently, or no, just to the west of it. So this is the Mail Creek and the Rouse River, just south of Pat Smith Park. So there you go. Very cool. I think I like this bush flying lark. It's good fun, isn't it? All we need now is a cooler with some beers. I wonder if there is one. Should we have a quick look? So we want to add to our selection of bits and pieces we've got out. Oh, there we go, cooler. We'll put that this side of the fire, I guess, there. Oh, it's hidden in the grass. There we go. Dog's busy wagging. He's happy. You can see the eggs and the sausages on the cooker. So right. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That was a fun flight, wasn't it? So we reached our destination in one piece. Apart from the problem with the simulator, but that's, you know, sometimes happens. It's very rare now that it ever happens, but there we go. See you again soon.